So this is a variant on the earlier exercise where we want to read characters from the user one by one until they hit that hash symbol. But we only want to print out the characters that are uppercase. And this means we have to use some kind of logic to test, is this an uppercase letter? So remember that whether it's a letter and whether it's uppercase are two separate things. Obviously, nothing can be uppercase without being a letter, but there are letters that are lowercase that aren't uppercase letters. So we need some way of testing that out. And the reason I'm bringing this up is actually not because it's a good idea to write code that manually tests if things are uppercase. It's because I want some crafty way of introducing more parts of the C standard library, including things to help us test whether a character is an uppercase letter. So we'll start by writing that loop. So I'm going to read characters from the user one by one until they enter a hash symbol. So I start by reading my very first character. Then I write a loop that keeps going as long as the character I most recently read is not equal to the hash symbol. And at each step, to make some progress, I call getchar again to read another character. All right, so at each step, what I want to do is test. Actually, I'm gonna just write myself a shopping list. An uppercase letter. If so, print out CH with %C. Otherwise, I do nothing. If the character isn't an uppercase letter, I just ignore it. And then at the end, after I'm done, I also do nothing. I just let the program end naturally. As soon as the user enters a hash symbol, I'm done. So how do I test if CH is an uppercase letter? So we have to be careful here. We do not care about those numerical codes. They're irrelevant to us. One thing that is reasonable to understand, so we've seen already that uppercase A is 65. Who cares? I mean, whatever. It could be anything. But one thing that's interesting about our character set is that uppercase A is 65, or some number. Uppercase B is 66. And uppercase C, unsurprisingly, is 67. It turns out that all of the uppercase letters are together. And that means if I want to ask if if a character is an uppercase letter, what I could do is I could say, hey, I don't actually know what the character code for uppercase Z is, and I don't care. I could always ask, hey, if this character is uppercase, its numerical code has to be between 65, the character code for A, and whatever the character code for Z is. I don't even have to know those numbers to make this work, because I'm always allowed to use the character itself in place of its numerical code. So I'm going to try that out. So I'm going to say if the character is greater than or equal to uppercase A, and it's a great use of logical and the character is less than or equal to uppercase Z, that means it lies in the range between the first uppercase letter and the last one. So I'll print it out. I'll just print the character out by itself, and that's it. So I'll print out just CH by itself. I'm wondering if I want to do this with a new line. I think we'll start by using a \n here. All right, so we'll try compiling this, and we'll run it. We'll actually run it. There we go. And I'll type hello world, and I'll press my hash symbol and press enter. We get H, we get W. I have tested whether I have an uppercase letter or not, and if I do, I print it out. Let's try a multi-line example. Hello world. Well, actually, we'll leave. I keep capitalizing that O by accident. We'll leave it. We'll see what happens. And we notice that when I press enter, the program gets access to each of these characters. It prints out H, W, and O, and then I get lazy and I just begin entering garbage, and we'll see if that works. I press enter again. Well, looks like that worked. Maybe we should be more scientific. I think we're getting all the capital letters, and then I press the hash symbol because I've obviously gotten bored of this. So this is one way to test if letters are uppercase, but you can see that relies on some assumptions we don't know if we want to make. So we may have observed that in this character set, the numerical codes for the uppercase letters are consecutive. But are they always consecutive? What if the character encoding changes? Do we really want to have to make that assumption? And I actually think the answer is no. And moreover, I don't want to have to come up with clever tricks for all of the different things I might want to know about a character. Is it uppercase? Is it lowercase? Is it a letter of any kind? Is it a digit? Is it some sort of a space? Those are all things I might actually want to know about. I don't want to have to engineer some clever solution for each one of them. And fortunately for us, the C language has our back. So I'm going to copy this code and reuse it in a different file. Here I have echo uppercase underscore is upper. And what I want to do is I want to show off that there's a function that we are provided with that answers the question, is the character uppercase? I provide the function with a character, and it tells us yes or no, is this an uppercase letter? And that function is part of the C standard library, and it's part of a component of the library called ctype.h. And if you want to use these functions, ctype stands for character type, even though it's functions for characters in general. Ctype.h has to be included at the top of your file if you want to properly use these library functions. So I'm going to go add include ctype.h to the top of my program. All right, so here, instead of manually testing if it's an uppercase letter, I'm going to call the isUpper function. And in the notes that you're hopefully reading right now, it does list a bunch of other nice functions in ctype.h. isUpper is just one of them. There actually are also functions not only to test if something is uppercase, but also to convert a letter from lowercase to uppercase, which are great. There's a way of doing it manually, but it's really a bit of a hack. It's sort of nice to have a function that takes care of it for you. So we are calling the isUpper function in the C standard library, and it returns 0 if the character is not a letter, or if it's a letter but it isn't uppercase, and it returns something else, which is considered to be true in C, if the character is an uppercase letter. So we'll try this out. And we'll try it on the same example as earlier. Hello world, okay, even with the weird uppercase O. Don't know why I can't prevent that. And then press enter, and we can see it is still testing. Oh, I keep forgetting this. Obviously, I wasn't even running the program I was testing. That's a dirty trick. Let's compile and run the program I just wrote with the isUpper function. It'd be great if it turns out this program doesn't work after all, because I could have pulled one over on everybody. I could have edited this to make it look like I was really running the program that I was pretending to run. Echo uppercase isUpper. Okay, we'll try it again. Hello world. And there we go. We get H and W, and that time I didn't capitalize the O, so that looks good. And I think using the isUpper function is a great idea. And in general, on an exam, unless you are specifically told not to, you are allowed to use anything in the C standard library. So if you want to test if something is uppercase, I think this is a sure bet. It's, I think, a more reliable solution than trying to put together some strange numerical expression. That said, it is still useful to think about how we would do that. In fact, we should learn what exactly does the isUpper function do. And so one of the next videos we'll talk about how do we write isUpper ourselves.